So here I am, and Robert Duvall. This is my in memoriam also for the late actor Robert Duvall. Um, I noticed his passing early enough in the day that I was actually able to squeeze in a movie. So instead of doing a video where I get to talk about Robert Duvall's life and career, I wanted to revisit a movie of his. And so I looked at what was available to me on my many streaming services and whittled it down to the fact that I've actually never seen Tender Mercies, the film for which he won the Academy Award for Best Actor. So I immediately rectified the problem. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and this is Tender Mercies, which was released in 1983 and won Robert Duvall his Academy Award for Best Lead Actor. He has been nominated 7 times throughout his career. The film itself was nominated for 5 Academy Awards. It's directed by Bruce Beresford, who's an Australian director, probably most notably, aside from this, known for Driving Miss Daisy and one of my favorites, Double Jeopardy. I love that movie. Um, and he directs this sort of this country music drama that's about sort of redemption. I want to say almost like reclamation and just the idea that you can sort of maybe even resurrect what's left of your life if you are able to uh, find and fix what was broken. So, if you've seen Crazy Heart, you've seen this movie. Just with like Crazy Heart made some slight alterations to it, but man, damn, that movie was close. Um, so, in the supporting cast, we have Tess Harper, who was also nominated for an Academy Award that year in Best Supporting Actress. We have the late, great Wilford Brimley. Yes, Wilford Brimley is in this, as well as Betty Buckley and Ellen Barkin are also in this film. And it centers around Max Slade, I don't know. Max, who is a formerly famous country music singer who struggled heavily with alcoholism, which really destroyed his relationship with his wife Dixie, who is now performing on her own. She's out there on her own, and ex-wife, I should say. And he had a daughter with her. When we meet him, he's already sort of broken and beaten and trying to make some sort of sense out of his life. He ends up at this motel uh, run by Tess Harper, her character, and she has a son, and she's a widow, and he can't pay for the drink, so he offers instead to work it off. And seemingly rather quickly, they're like already together. Like they're married. Like the romance part of that relationship is like really quick. In terms of like, I love this movie. I was like, we missed that. That moved really fast for us. I also don't necessarily know, not being able to picture it, but I'm gonna guess there's an age gap here because while Tess does have a young kid, it's also mentioned that she had the kid when she was 17. I don't think this kid is more than 10. And Robert Duvall's got to be like at least being portrayed as like 40 something. So there's like he's got to be older than her. So there's something he's somewhere he's got to be at least 40 something in this. So because he died at 95 and this was in 1983. So I somewhere around in there it's hard to tell. A lot of times age isn't actually spoken, it's just in how you portray it and how you look. And we have somebody who is suffering from alcoholism, they look wearier and they're going to play older than they actually are. I'm sure Tess plays younger than she actually is, so there's a little bit of an age gap, but there isn't a whole lot of. I really wanted there to be more romance between these characters, but they kind of just throw them together because again it's more of a story of like redemption for him and can he be? Is it possible? he acknowledges the fact that he was an imperfect person. There's a journalist that comes by that is bugging him about and saying that he's writing this story, wants to know if Max has been working on anything, and he, you know, maybe it stirs a little bit of something in him that maybe there's a little bit of life left in him, kind of like with Jeff Bridges and Crazy Heart, a film that now I'm a little bit less impressed by, even though I love Crazy Heart. Um, so the belief that maybe he has something in him. He tries to visit Dixie, who's very adamant that he not be allowed to see the daughter. It was so much like her. She was so extra that I was like, okay, so obviously she's bullshit. She doesn't want him to see the daughter because obviously the daughter still has feelings for her father. Because this is it felt performative in a performance. You know, it felt like too much as it was. She said, "You saw it. She saw you hit me. She said that was what she grew up with, and she's she just that's what she's had to deal with this whole time." And it's like I feel like you're methinks thou doth protest too much, which is nice because we end up getting a scene where the daughter does finally reunite with Robert Duvall's character through the passage of time. So you get to see how the daughter did actually feel, and it's less like a concept and a construct, and they get to work that out. Um, I know Duvall got sort of born again at some point, which was, I'm sure, the Alcoholics Anonymous movement sort of started out of the Christian faith, anyways, which is why it's so strongly rooted in that the belief and the need for faith. So it doesn't really strike me as being that surprising that he would turn to religion in this movie while also trying to stay sober. There's a battle with his sobriety. Was there's always that lingering like, is that gonna be a drink for me? Do I need one? Was today too hard, too heavy? You know, um, and it's the struggle of this man, and Duvall feels uniquely positioned to play it. He plays it with tenderness, and yeah, I'm gonna use that because it's in the title of the movie. Um, so he's not this loud, boisterous, angry drunk who's constantly, like Nicolas Caging his way through Las Vegas. It's not like one of those things. It's it's a man who seems broken, is broken, has probably some level of depression that he's not dealing with in his time period, and you get that sort of isolationist feel because they're like in the middle of nowhere in Texas at this hotel that they run. You can sort of feel. I couldn't see the landscapes, but I can feel because you can hear like the wind come howling down the plains. Uh, Oklahoma. No. Subscribe. Uh, so yeah, it feels like sort of like one of those where the wind blows movies, and the wind blew him here, and this is where he is now. But would the wind blow him away? Is he going to stay loyal to his new wife Tess? How does the interaction with his daughter change his life and his future for the course? I don't want to tell you because I want you to find out for yourself because you owe it to Robert Duvall. The man just passed away, and this is the film he won an Oscar for. So, and if you're looking for a Robert Duvall movie and you have already seen Tender Mercies, by all means, pick up another film of his. He has so many great films in his legacy. I mean, God, my God. I realize I haven't seen all of them for me to be able to put them all together cohesively. But I did realize that with the upcoming Oscars and the in memoriam segment, I'm like, that's two Godfather cast members that we lost in the last calendar year, Duvall and Keaton. Um, that's that's rough. Um, I really hope they give this year the space and time for us to be able to properly honor all the people that we've lost who have made such an indelible impact, like forever on cinema. There are always people like the James Van Der Beeks, right, who they made an impact, but there are some people here like Duvall and Redford and Keaton and Hackman and some people like that, where it's just like, my God, like, what are we even doing? Like, this is such a tremendous, and Rob Reiner, Catherine O'Hara actually too. I mean, her career dates back through the '80s. So these people with these long storied careers, and to have to shove them all into the same in memoriam segment is just like, what is even happening now? Like, what happened to this past year? So, and the realization that we still have a lot of legends that are up there in age, and one day they're going to be up there, it just hits you more and more as you get older. Like, I dread to see the day when I see Al Pacino and De Niro and Scorsese and Spielberg and like some of those people who are starting to push further up the age, and it's just like, my God. So Robert Duvall made it to 95. What a career left behind. I thought Mercies was a beautiful film. I don't know that it's my favorite film of his, but it's a really lovely performance. It feels like the kind of thing that can easily be forgotten when people aren't going back through Oscar movies and Oscar winning performances and all those kind of things. It feels like the kind of film that doesn't necessarily entrench itself forever in the cinephile domain. Like, I don't think people on Letterboxd are popping off about Tender Mercies all the time, because it's very specific, and you get the people who will write it off as being like a country western movie, so they kind of like toss it aside as being like, well, I don't like country music, so I'm not going to listen to that. And that's kind of unfortunate, because we shouldn't do that with any movie. Like, that's just a rock musical. Well, that's just a rap show. Like, I mean, we'd be doing that if because the film is about a specific music genre, featured through an artist. If you cast it away simply based on that, then you're kind of ignoring the film itself and the craft, or the craft of the actors, craft of the director, all the various below the line designers that put work into that film, simply because maybe that's not your favorite genre of music. So I think that's why Tender Mercies and probably films like it end up becoming less enthused, because you have to really like that. You really have to be either at the top, very tip top of your thing to represent. So you become sort of like the pinnacle of whatever you're in. Um, Sort of like with Broadway musicals, there maybe have gravitated a few of them that have gravitated toward the top a little bit more. So people who aren't really heavy into musicals might be like, I don't like musicals, but I like West Side Story, or I like Sound of Music, you know, instead of getting really deep into it and being like, I don't like musicals, but man, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. Whew. So, that one did it for me. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty. If people tell you that they only like one musical, you can pretty much guess within like five guesses. You're like, I think I know which one it is. Um, yeah, I don't know that Tender Mercies is that for the country music struggling artist scene, but just because of the passage of time, it's become older. That doesn't mean it's not good, though. I found this on Amazon. It didn't have audio description. I didn't care, because I needed, in that moment, I needed to watch it. I was like, I needed the instant gratification of being able to watch Tender Mercies on the day of. Like, Robert Duvall had just passed, and I had the time at that moment. I was literally about to go, like, what am I going to watch? I'm watching Tender Mercies. So I just shifted right into it. I was like, oh, I'm going to do a Duvall movie. I was going to do something else, but I'm going to do a Duvall movie instead today. So, I don't know. I mean, his life and legacy, his career, I think about all the films that he was in over the years. And he was acting all the way fairly recently. Um, I mean, I remember him being in Hustle with Adam Sandler. That wasn't that long ago, you know. So, he really just kept kicking around. I remember The Apostle. I kind of wanted to see The Apostle. Like, that was a film that I really was sort of interested in. Um, but yeah, I knew I didn't want to sit through Apocalypse Now again, just for his performance. It feels more like a Martin Sheen thing. He's great in it, and also Godfather. It feels more like someone else, not necessarily him. So I was really looking for like a great, like, well, what is Duvall? and I was like, oh, well, Tender, I forgot I haven't actually seen the film for which he won the Academy Award, so I should see that rather than revisit something I already have seen. So I'm admitting I didn't see Tender Mercies until today. Um, but have you? I like Tender Mercies. I don't know that it didn't immediately float to the top of my list, but I think it's a very good movie. I think it's well directed, has some lovely performances in it. I don't really have too many problems with it. It's just like that greatness, that level of like, oh yeah, well this is. I feel like my life has been changed forever, and this is immediately one of my favorite films of all time. That didn't really happen. It probably got a little bit of a bump if I'd had audio description to it, but I think the only downfall it has is me seeing it after having seen other movies like it, and so it doesn't feel quite as unique as maybe it would have if I was an older human being. I was, I, I don't want to tell you how old I was when this movie came out, but unable to see Tender Mercies would be the answer to this question. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna give Tender Mercies an 8.2 out of 10. I like the movie. I think ultimately, just because of generationally and the fact that I've seen Crazy Heart more times, I'm gonna end up still forgiving Crazy Heart for being a knockoff of this, and still end up loving Crazy Heart more. Um, but it does make me kind of go like, ah, damn, damn. All right, so Crazy Heart is a little bit less unique than it was before. But check it out for Robert Duvall. What's your favorite Robert Duvall performance? Let me know in the comments. Should I have watched today? It's a hard argument to say like, well, you hadn't seen Tender Mercies, so you should have watched something else. Should I have? This is the one he won for. He won the Oscar for this. I can't think of a more appropriate movie, especially considering it was my first time. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys on the other side.